Starfleet Underground. Every week, we'll take a look at the latest Star Trek news and then check out a current or classic episode of Star Trek.
This week, the Bakersfield just called. They're stuck in a temporal loop. Oh, no, that was last week. This week, it's time for a long warp, and everyone has a bridge buddy except Boimler, who is not from Hawaii. We also see what lower deck life is like on Klingon, Vulcan, Pakled, and Borg starships.
It's a perfect way to start it, walking down the halls in the bathrobe. However, Heather's got to be careful doing that because that robe is kind of see-through. And one of the dots, for some reason, started going, red alarm, red alarm. So I don't get it. But anyway, did she make it back to her room, Dot? Okay, we can start then. And, don't show me the pictures. I don't want to see my science officer in a transparent robe going down the hall. And Patrick was in the background.
Show me those pictures later.
And so that was yeah. Okay, we're going to go ahead and get ready to get started here. The light is indeed on. My name is Nathan Adams. We're part of Starfleet Underground. We have a full crew complement today. So we have our science officer. If she's made it back to her room. You made it back to your room.
I'm back.
Cool.
I'm Heather Ferris. I'm the science officer, and I swear to God, I have clothes on now.
Yeah, the Dot was like really excited about it. Apparently, he watched Short Circuit the other day, and he was like talking about, Heather has nice software.
And that damn Dot has a camera in its eye, so it got pictures.
Yeah, because of the picture he took of me doing the nude stretch that he that he wound up uploading to Patreon. It's like, what the hell?
That was so funny.
Are we trying to scare our Patreon clients away?
Then it sends.
I mean, what's the point of you being?
I don't know. Then it sends me a text that it wants to swing on it like Tarzan, but I was like, no. Okay, we have our computer guy.
Is that why the Dot was making all the Tarzan sounds? Okay.
Yes, it was.
Ooh.
I'm Patrick. I'm number one. I'm also the computer guy and the foreign species liaison.
And morning. And thank you so much also because we've been getting a lot of solid reports of all of the liaison work you've been doing. And we're going to be having people lined up to come visit the ship as soon as we get near the quadrant. So much appreciation towards you and also updating all of the software on the ship. So thank you.
Well, software becomes hardware if you don't update it.
Yeah, and if you handle it too much, I have to agree. Then we have also our this amazing engineer here. We have our chief.
I must admit, I am a big fan of hardware.
Oh my!
we have our chief here.
I'm a gearhead. That's what I'm talking about. What are you guys talking about?
I don't know.
Hi, everybody. I'm Rocky. I'm the engineer of the show and the ship. And Captain, we got a wonderful delivery here. We've got about 500 cases of Pringles potato chips. It was sent to us by the Horta because they heard the last episode and they said, you really need to get the right thing.
Oh, no. And the Dots are bringing them into my room.
It's going to take a few hours, sir. There's a lot of chips.
Oh, my God. Hold. In the corner. No, not there.
Thank goodness the captain's got a really big set of quarters.
The corner. Over
Rocky,
by the love seat.
Send one over to me. I'll put one in the replicator so that way we can have it for later.
Okay.
There would become flaming Pringles. In the corner. By the love seat. I didn't say by the sectional sofa. The love seat. Love seat.
I forgot how big his quarters are.
It's like walking into a lobby of a hotel.
It's the two. Wait, hold on a second. I told you it was over. I got to get up and point. All right.
All I have enough room for is a small desk.
All right. Thank you. All right. It's back.
I do have to mention Patrick dropped off. I don't know where he went.
Probably because he heard Pringles. He heard Pringles and ran to see if he could snack a box. Knowing him, he loves those things because once the can is empty, he could use it for a...
Oh, my...
Oh, wow.
Pocket device?
I wasn't even thinking about that.
Yeah.
There are alternate uses for Pringles cans, but I was thinking about the Wi-Fi antennas people build.
No, he uses it. He fills it with packing foam and makes a hole. So there's that. So we're gonna. He'll probably be back in his second as soon as he figures out where to put it, because his quarters is even smaller than yours, Heather, because it's filled with all kinds of computer equipment.
It's really big if you open the door, the external door, the airlock.
Yeah,
You've got lots of space that way.
I haven't done that in a while. We should cycle him one day, just for old time's sake. Oh, I almost forgot. Today's show is being brought to you by Section 31. So they haven't dropped by or censored us in a long, long time, and I'm quite happy about that. HR had that meeting with me not so long ago, but other than that, they're not sponsoring us. So it is Section 31, as well as our Patreon users. So thank you so much for all of our Patreon guests donating to keep the triples spayed and neutered and to send them on trips. If you get a chance to get on there, you'll be able to see all of our different pictures and some nudes of the crew as well. Another thing we're going to get started ahead of time here is that we have our YouTube channel. You can find us. You can look it up on Starfleet Underground and then click on Heather's name and you have all our videos. If you hear us, please do us a favor in order to get us promoted and out there. Go ahead and click like and subscribe. That's all you got to do. Is just hit the like button and hit subscribe button. And this way we can get more of a higher profile and reach more Star Trek fans who like this particular brand of humor. So,
and there is a particular brand of humor, because you'll notice that the last one had like 4 times more plays than the usual run of plays we get. And I think it's something to do with either the thumbnail or the title, because it's naked time on Heather's account kind of conjures up a certain kind of viewer.
No, I think it was the thumbnail for sure.
You think it was a Boimler?
The Boimler with his legs spread and him doing the kissy. Oh my gosh. That is something that you will have in your mind and you will never forget.
No.
So y'all didn't even know I was
Yeah,
going.
we did.
Patrick, we thought you went out the airlock.
We told everybody that you went and snaked a case of the Pringles. I know you did, so don't try to play innocent. We knew you were gone, okay? So, and then one of the dots, because he watched Lower Decks, when you took the case, he started screaming, red alarm, red alarm.
Yeah.
So
It was a bargain deal on the voice chip for that particular dot.
yeah, that's the same one that's been giving issues before. He thinks it was 007. There's always one anomaly of all of our electronic equipment. I don't know why. Okay, now that we got all of that out of the way, Patrick, did you put the case away?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So we're going to start.
Why is there a meowing sound effect in the background?
Yeah, it's one of
that
Spot's
wasn't a
friends.
sound effect.
No, Data dropped off one of Spot's
got
friends, and so Spot is in there with his other cats now.
Oh, I thought that was Tiana.
No.
That he was
Oh
seeing
my
the
God.
doctor.
I would not let that scuzzy furball in my quarters.
Yeah, uh-huh. Well, we're going to start on, first off, we're going to go with corrections. We got any corrections?
Let me check here. Let's see. So
And while he's checking for corrections, just to remind you, this show is not for children. If you're under the age of 18, turn this shit off now. Oops. Turn this thing off now. And don't
Stop
listen
fucking
to
listening.
us. Seriously. So go away. Go away. Or
Yeah, I
we
know.
will throw you
I see
naked
no-
over a cliff with a bungee cord and have spikes under it.
Ooh.
Okay, go ahead.
I see no corrections.
Outstanding. Now we move on to some people's favorite part of the show is the news. What do you got for us there, Heather?
So if you guys haven't seen this, go on YouTube, check it out, or check out the link in our show notes below. Saturday Night Live did a Star Trek skit featuring the billionaires that fly into outer space. And it had everything. It had the penis ship, it had the space race, it had a whole like intergalactical space fight and everything between the billionaires. It was awesome. And then he throws in his one. It was great. It's Jeff Bezos, and I don't know if I should tell you the ending. I think I'm spoiling it.
It's kind of spoiled already because it's a Saturday Night Live skit.
That's true. He throws his Amazon worker an empty plastic bottle because he has to go to the bathroom, and I just died. I laughed so freaking hard. It was so funny.
I have to agree. That was the funniest part to me. He says he has to go to the restroom and he tosses him a bottle as he's beaming out.
Oh, I can't. I literally died. I was crying. I was laughing so hard.
It's very funny. So if you guys haven't watched it, you want a little bit of a Star Trek skit, you get a chance to watch it. And it is pretty funny. And some of the imitations they did of the billionaires were like dead on.
It was perfect.
The Elon one actually got me a couple laughs. I will admit.
It was. It was.
It was a little accurate.
It was very funny. It's like the way he did
creepy.
the laugh.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, number one, what do you got for us news-wise?
I was like, are you like someone who runs around with a trench coat and glasses?
Huh?
What?
Who?
What?
When?
Hello?
Hello?
007?
What?
What are you talking about?
Bum, 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 bum.
Stop it, you fuckhead.
What? Who's in your cabin? And how come they didn't sign the guest registry? What the hell?
Hold on.
Does he have that Klingon again that he had the social time with not so long ago on his away mission?
Oh, is that who's in his trailer?
I
Or
don't
his
know. I have to try to
orders?
find out. For some reason, the security cameras are off.
Yeah, computer guy would do that.
Are you there? Okay, since he's not answering right now, probably engaging in whatever computer guys gauge when there's nobody watching. Chief, what do you got for us for news?
Okay. The first look trailer is out for Center Seat, 55 Years of Star Trek. That's the brand new multi-episode documentary series narrated by Gates McFadden. And it's produced by the Nacelle Company. And they're the ones that do the Toys That Made Us and other of those documentaries that are actually pretty well done and were very entertaining. Anyway, Gates McFadden's narrating this documentary, and you can see the first trailer out on YouTube. Just look for Nacelle Company and take a look, because it looks like it's going to be a little irreverent.
That is going to be really cool. When they do those documentaries, I love them. It's full of good information, behind the scenes, bloopers, everything. So I'm definitely going to look forward to it. All right, number one is your turn. What do you got for us?
Well, there's a whole bunch of Star Trek events coming up right now, currently at the Skirball Cultural Center in Los Angeles. The Star Trek Exploring New Worlds exhibition is going on from now until February 20th of 2022. And next month in London, we have Destination Star Trek. And also in February, we have the Star Trek Cruise with George Takei and a whole bunch of other, Star Trek stars. And then the big one in April of 2022 is Star Trek Mission Chicago, which the captain and I will be attending. And then finally, September 23rd to 25 of 2022 is Destination Star Trek Germany. So those are just some of the events that are coming up.
There's a lot of stuff happening.
I mean, it's funny, you think about it, it's like, it's still October. I mean, but it's like, wait a minute, it's already October. And so these events are going to come at you a lot quicker than you think.
Yeah, they are.
The cruise you said was in February, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Did they have that last year?
I don't
or was
think
it
so.
canceled?
Oh, yeah, it was
Last
canceled.
year was canceled. The one previous was like one of the last cruises to go before everything got shut down.
Right, because that was right before everything happened.
Yeah.
2020 has definitely been a year where nothing major happened other than the COVID stuff.
Yeah.
My news is, I have two pieces of news here. For those of you that live out in California that likes to go to the Rose Parade, LeVar Burton is going to be in the Rose Parade. He's going to be the Grand Marshal. So that's going to be really, really cool. So he's going to be in the 2022 theme of Dream, Believe, and Achieve. And a little bit of side note information, if you're a LeVar fan like we are, there's a show on called Leverage Redemption, and on the second season, he is on the show as a guest star.
Oh gosh, he's actually on the show?
He's on the show.
I think he's directed, if he hasn't directed one of those, he's directed some of their shows in the past, I think, because he's in with that crowd, right?
Yes, he is, but I don't want to spoil the show too much, but I will say that his guest appearance on the show kicked ass.
Oh goodness, okay.
It was really, really worth seeing.
So I've been getting the emails saying, the second season's out, go get it. And I'm like, I haven't gotten a chance to yet, but it's good. I'm ready to, because that's the one thing I can sit down and watch with my parents when I get a chance to, aside from Star Trek. There's only so many shows I can sit there and watch with my parents still. And that's one of them, because they enjoy the hell out of it. So
it's really good. If you have Amazon Prime, the whole second season is dropped. So
you mean you can't watch the L Word or Queer as Folk with your parents?
I can't even watch that with you.
I was just thinking, can you watch Lower Deck with your parents? Because that's.
Well, fortunately, my mother's eyesight is not as good as it used to be. So I don't think she quite understood what was going on with the slipping and sliding scene. I think she thought something else was going on.
It almost sounded like you said with the slipping inside.
Yes.
What about the whole sex program where everyone's having sex with each other?
That's the slipping and sliding part. I think she thought it might have been a water park.
Oh my God.
They have a water park in the holodeck.
So when Boiler was there, Spread Eagle, she's like, oh my God, a crab.
Oh, wow.
There's a cream for that.
Yes.
Yes, there is.
Seriously. The last bit of news I'm going to have, if we haven't already discovered it, and unless you live in a cave, you are not a Star Trek fan, which in that case you wouldn't be listening to this anyway, is that William Shatner is going to have his lifelong dream of going into space. His tweet says, "Now I can say something. Yes, it's true. I'm going to be a rocket man." So he's going to be going up in the Blue Horizon, the penis rocket.
Rocket man.
Which is going to be a 10 to 12 minute flight. And he's going to be the oldest person ever to go up into the ionosphere like that. So at 90
I bet he
years
loves
old.
that.
Yeah. So it's going to be interesting.
It's just long enough to get the wee part of the ride without having to sit there in a capsule too long.
But everyone is really concerned because he is 90. And the G pressures are going up for a 90-year-old man.
He's going to look 70 when he gets all the G forces going. He's going to look great.
And he's in relatively good shape because he still does horseback riding. He still is very physically active. But I'm sure Bezos doesn't want to be known as the guy who killed Captain Kirk. So,
oh, God.
I mean, at this point, he's just bragging. It's just bragging rights for him at this point, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if he were to go out, he would go out with a bang. So why not? That'd be a perfect ending.
No, don't say it like that.
This is not the shuttle.
It's shaped like a rocket. I mean, it's shaped like a cock, right? So
it's shaped like a suppository. So, but those are the two news sections that we have for today. And in order to give Heather time off because she's been working really hard on an experiment, and you know how scientists are, they get so laser focused on doing an experiment they forget everything else, which is why she's been wandering around in various states of undress from her cabin to the lab and back and forth with the 007 dot trailing her. Because of that, we gave Patrick the homework time. So, Patrick, what do you got for us? What was the new episode name? And I'm going to love to hear you pronounce it.
Well, I don't know how to pronounce it, but I'm going to call it Ouija Doogie.
Oh, wow.
I don't think that's how you pronounce it.
What is it? Like Wedge Jedge? Something like that.
Probably.
I don't know.
Isn't there a sound at the end of it?
Is it Klingon? I don't know.
I don't know, but the way it was written in the title, it didn't look like words.
That was cool. I've never seen an episode with a title not in an English font.
Yeah.
Well,
there he is.
I like Ouija Doogie, so that's what I'm going to call it. So it was season 2, episode 9 of Lower Decks. We didn't have any intro. We just went straight into Act 1. Like, what the hell, people?
No intro.
It's okay. You just hold on for the ride.
Act 1, Metreon Particles and Rebellious Vulcans. Our lower deckers are trying to decide what to do with their free time. Everyone but Boimler has a bridge date, and he ponders life on a ship with a built-in social structure like, the Binars are Klingons. Mariner's like, dude, you wouldn't like being on a Klingon ship. Over on the IKS Cheat-ah, or Cheat-ah, the lower deckers are getting ready for their day. Ma'a hopes to become the next first officer after Todd is killing for undermining a captain. That's a future thing. It's a logical choice, so Vulcan would say. On the Cheval, the lower deckers focus on their duties like good Vulcans, except T'Lyn, who has a mind of her own. She's enhanced long-range sensors with her own algorithm, which finds Metreon particles in System 7743.8, a system which has never produced anomalous readings before. It feels off, she says, and is ridiculed for going on a feeling. She has lost control of herself. Just call her Miss Jackson if you're nasty. On the Cheat-ah, Dorg kills Tog with a knife in his chest. He forgot what it means to be Klingon. Well, the job of first officer is just opened up. Ma'a steps up to remove Tog's body. On the Cerritos, Boimler tries his hand at Temerian and ends up calling Kayshon fat. Boimler joins Rutherford and Shaxs in pottery class, only to insult Shaxs' time on Bajor. Shaxs tries to attack him, but Rutherford calms him down. It's time to make incense trays in the shape of a puppy. Back on the Cheat-ah, Ma'a impresses Dorg with his knowledge of historical Klingon battles. On the Cheval, T'Lyn explains to her captain that although not part of her duties, her gut feeling said that improving the sensors would prove illuminating. The captain orders the helm to change course, while assuring T'Lyn that he does not endorse her feelings and that she must spend the next 2 days meditating. But I'm almost done with the project, she whines. Your behavior is childish, remarks the captain. On the holodeck, Tindy is rock climbing with Tiana. Boimler tries to join them using some levitation boots, but as he flies up to meet them, his boots fail and he plummets to the ground. Thank God for the safety protocols.
That part, of course, I know Heather picked up on it right away. What movie was that from, Heather? With the rock climbing?
Shit, I don't know what movie. I was just laughing my ass off because of that whole thing where Tendy's like, it's a good thing safety protocols are on. They are on, right? And Tiana's like, I don't know. Yeah, sure, whatever. Starts climbing. What movie?
That was the motion picture.
Star Trek 5.
Yeah.
It's the Final Frontier, wasn't it?
And he had the same T-shirt on.
I didn't even realize that. I was just laughing my ass off about the whole Tendy thing.
When Spock comes up with the boots while Kirk is climbing, on the side of the mountain. So I thought that was pretty funny.
I wish they had a little campfire scene too.
That would have been cool.
Roasting
Twinkle,
marshmallows.
Twinkle.
Yeah.
Singing Twinkle, Twinkle.
Marshmelons?
Yes.
Marshmallows.
You never seen the Patreon pictures of Rocky. Everything he has is large size. So
I'm just gonna leave that one alone.
Yeah, that's what you say if you ever saw it. Okay, we're gonna continue on. That was funny when the whole thing with the boots. He's trying so hard to like find a command buddy because they're all finally get a point where the captain gives the whole ship R&R.
Yeah, but you don't get true R&R if you have to spend it with a bridge buddy. That's kind of weird.
Yeah, but it's suck up time.
But Boimler said it perfect. I mean, this is actual true advice for life. Socializing with management is a huge factor when getting a promotion.
It is. It very much so is.
Which translates to whose ever dick you suck.
Well, I mean, that's the faster way.
You don't have to suck a dick for a promotion.
It could be.
It helps.
Call HR.
No.
HR has a video you can watch about this. You don't have to suck it to get up.
Because what happened if you're bad at it?
It helps if it's up when you're sucking it.
No, but what happened if you're bad at it? Then you get demoted.
You get demoted.
Yeah, that's the last thing you hear is your future manager while you're down there. It's like, oh my God, less teeth. You're not getting the promotion. So.
Now I know why that 90-year-old got promoted. No teeth.
Oh my gosh.
That's right. They gave a gum job.
Wait a minute, Kirk got promoted?
He's going to space.
That's how come he's going to space. He gave him a special delivery.
You telling me he sucked up to Bezos?
That's awesome.
Well, that's the rumor. That's what I heard.
Captain Kirk worked at Amazon. That's amazing.
Well, he works on Amazon.
But it was really kind of cute the way they started to pop around to lower decks on different ships.
I loved this so much because it wasn't just one ship. It was like, oh, we're going to see how it works on the Klingon side. Then they cut to the Vulcans and like, oh, cool, this is how it works. And of course, the Vulcans are Vulcans, so they're completely, except they've got a loose cannon aboard. Watch out for her.
I love seeing a black sheep on each one of the ships. Like each one of the ship has someone where everyone like shits on.
Everybody's got a lower deck. I think that's wonderful.
It was really fun because with the Klingon ship, and Mariner was telling Boimler, like, you would be perfect on a Klingon ship. And when they switched to the Klingon ship, the first thing has happened. They wake the guy up by punching him in his face.
Klingons. Of course, the first thought I had was to go flash back to that episode where Riker had an exchange time on the Klingon ship. So I thought, oh, maybe they'll do something like that. That's kind of cool. But I didn't realize they're going to do also the Vulcans and then later the Pakled. I thought this was an awesome idea.
It was really funny. And then she's talking about, I'm going with my instincts. And she's never raised her voice, never say anything. And they turn around, the other two Vulcans look at each other and go, she's just out of control.
It's like, girl, slow down. You crazy.
Talking about feelings and everything.
I mean, at first look, it's like, well, she's just looking for a chess game. But no. She's a loose cannon.
Yeah, that was the other chick that wanted the chess game.
Was it the other chick that wanted the chess game? Oh, goodness.
Yeah.
No. And then you had the Klingon was like, it's only logical that he would pick me. And he says, oh, what do you want to cut your hair in bangs and then serve on a science vessel?
Nothing wrong with bangs.
I love the Vulcans or the Klingon version of the Vulcans. Avoid death and cower.
That was hysterical. They mocked the salute.
They even mocked the Klingon saying, "Today is a good day to die," and then he was just about to die because the knife was thrown at him, and I'm like, oh my god! I wonder how many times that's happened on the Klingon ship.
It makes you wonder, how can they even fight if they're always fighting amongst themselves?
That's impressive, isn't it? They're always at each other's throats, but they're also badass fighters.
Yeah.
I guess
Well, you have to be a badass fighter with a ship named Cheat-ah.
Yeah, well, totally. I love that the lower decks definitely brought in this slight little tidbit that I don't know if everyone realizes, that Klingon blood is purple pink.
Yep, they did. It was in the undiscovered country.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and that was really funny. The reason why they did that, they said, in order to keep the rating down, because red is considered too violent.
Yeah, it's interesting. There's some video games that they can't put red in for blood, so they put like green in or something like that.
Yeah.
And that was not the reason the Vulcans have green blood, but I don't know why they have green blood, but they're definitely not red-blooded. But the
according to
Klingons,
McCoy, they're hobgoblins, so remember?
Well, that's true, yeah. But the Klingons, you always thought were red-blooded, just like, regular human, but they're not. They're actually kind of purple pink blooded.
Fun
Like
tip.
neon.
That's why Quentin Tarantino in Kill Bill changed that fight scene with the bride to black and white with the when she fought the 88.
Oh, really? I thought it was just an artsy thing.
No.
He wanted to keep the R rating.
It was about the ratings.
Yeah.
I would totally cry bullshit for that. I think he would do it for artistic integrity.
Well, he went that direction.
Maybe it was just kind of a win-win.
Yeah, no, he did it because they wanted to make it not just an R, it was like an NC-17.
NC-17 because of that one scene.
So
did you guys notice the parallels between our lower deckers, the Klingons, and the Vulcans? Like Ma'a is totally Boimler.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And Cheval is totally Mariner.
Yeah.
But
yeah, no.
So you're saying the Vulcan is the loose cannon, like Mariner, and the up and comer is like Boimler on the Klingons.
Right.
Yes,
but a competent, Boimler's beginning to get really competent.
I don't think Boimler would have been able to dispose of a body like that and cut it up into pieces.
I thought that was awesome. That I don't even know if we're at that scene yet.
Yeah, but he also, you're right, but he also treated we haven't got to that part. Yeah, you're right.
Oh, we haven't in my next section?
I think you are.
Yeah,
I love
that.
They had the one little scene where they cut to on the Klingon ship and they're all playing with the Targ like it's a puppy.
I know, that was funny.
So cute.
Like it's got a play toy.
And he's like, take care of my Targ. So that was
this scene is when they removed Tog's body.
Okay, so we're in the right
so
section.
it's not next section. Okay.
So we dragged him out and you got the trail of blood.
And then he's like, here, walk my Targ.
Right?
No, that Walk My Targ is Walk My Targ is definitely in the next section.
Me. Go ahead, Heather.
So basically the lower decks of the Klingons, their responsibility is to get rid of the bodies and dispose of them and cut them up into little pieces and feed them to the hogs.
Well, to the Targs and to supply blood wine.
Targs.
Yes, get me some blood wine, damn it.
Yeah, you got to refill the blood after you scrape out the barrels.
Boimler would so die.
Yeah, he would. Okay.
He'd be gagging.
Okay. But the one scene where he calls Kayshon fat was just...
That was hysterical. And he's like, it's hard to lose weight when the replicator makes anything you want.
I mean, that's true. I mean, how do you not balloon up a couple pounds with the replicator installed?
That was so funny.
Oh, that was great.
Well, I mean, it's kind of hard to learn a language when all you do is speak in metaphors, Come on.
Well, what happened to the translator? Why wasn't the translator working? This is why translators were invented.
He was trying to speak it himself just to be polite,
Yeah. He's like, Kano in the forest with Mira. He just tosses the slabs the drink down and leave.
Was Mira bigger or was Keru bigger?
That would be a question.
Which one was the fat one? See, that's what I want to know. I want to know more about the metaphor. I want the backstory.
It's funny how they turn around and he's trying to impress them and he falls flat on his face.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, horribly bad.
Well, I mean, like he's impressed with Shaxs' ability to make pottery, and he comments on it, and Shaxs like flips out, Boimer just he sticks his foot in it all the time.
Well, that was hysterical because you figured Bajor was always under attack and occupation by the Klingons. So for him to say, "What did you learn pottery?" It's like, what? I didn't have time to learn.
Weren't they under attack by the Cardassians, not the Klingons?
What did I say?
You said the Klingons.
You did say Klingons, sir.
I did say Klingons?
Yeah.
Yeah, Nick,
Okay.
it's Cardassians.
In my head, I thought Cardassians.
And one of them is actually hosting SNL this week.
So, yeah, I'm going to look for the next thing. So I can understand being mad because it's like,
Right.
yeah.
Well, especially when he's trying to channel all his anger and frustration into the clay, and somebody brings up more anger and frustration.
And Boiler thought he was joking. You have referred to it. Tell him, no, he's really serious. You need to go.
Run, get out of here.
Let's make incense ashtrays in the shape of puppies.
That was awesome. Although I'm wondering why they have ashtrays over there.
Right? You can't smoke on a starship. Hello.
It was incense. It wasn't smoking. And you realize he was making a gift for Patrick.
Well, he wasn't the only bridge buddy that was having anger problems, because Cindy when she was talking about Tiana, she was like, I can't tell if she likes me or if she makes that face at everyone.
Well, that's actually true because cats.
That's another cat thing.
Yeah, cats are expressionists.
It can stare you in the face and you wonder, is it like thinking, oh, isn't the human cute? Or is it thinking, I'm going to scrape their eyes out when they go to sleep?
Most of the time they just got a hairball, and that's why they look the way they do.
Okay.
Oh, I thought it was constipation.
True story. I had a friend who had a male cat.
You had a friend?
Yes, I did. And he
That's
got
so
the cat
mean.
neutered.
Patrick.
Okay. He had the cat spayed. And he said for the next couple of days, the cat was just sit on top of the TV and just stare at him. And he couldn't figure why. The cat would just stare at him, wouldn't come near him, wouldn't come anything. And so he was laying in his bed and he wakes up and the cat is on his chest staring at him. And he looks at the cat and goes, hey, what's going on? And the cat went off on his face. The cat just went crazy and scratched him up bad.
Oh, wow. That sounds like he
Okay,
was
how old
possessed.
was this cat when he got him fixed?
I have no idea.
Too old,
But
probably.
It missed its balls.
The cat was beyond pissed and messed him up.
See,
Messed
'cause
him up bad.
I got mine fixed. I think you have to wait like 3 months when they're 3 months old. I got mine fixed immediately.
It's better to start younger.
Yeah. So they don't remember having balls.
Because if they're older, they still maintain the ability and desire to mark all your crap.
Yeah, my cats have never marked anything.
No, his cat went nuts on him. He had to get rid of the cat. The cat
He must have been older than when he got fixed.
Yeah, because I imagine so because the cat. Yeah, but it messed him up. I couldn't get more information from him because I was too busy laughing. But cats are expressions. So she's doing the doctor is actually being like a cat.
Yeah.
Except for the big eyes when she got her box. Okay, next section.
Okay, Act 2, Blood Wine, Wisdom, and Hawaiian Shirts. Boimler goes to the phaser range where Freeman and Mariner are engaged in a heated argument, so he creeps out. He gets in a turbo lift with Ransom, a Benzonite ensign, and a lieutenant junior grade. Guess what? I'm from Hawaii too. Let's go to the beach. On Cheat-ah, Ma'a brings a barrel of blood wine to the mess hall when an overweight Klingon passes out on top of him. Stop fooling around and walk my targ, the captain says. On Cheval, Talin tries to meditate, but that damn pad is calling her name. Meditating is for when the work is complete. Her friends tell her that her rebelliousness will lead to a punitive spiritualism. There is much more to learn and achieve by not following the rules, she tells them. But, be my Chadit, she says. We aren't Klingons, neither are we Borg drones who follow orders blindly. Logic is the beginning of wisdom, not the end. Her friend tells her that the High Command would be interested in her instability, but she could care less what the crew thinks of her. This is the longest trip of my life, Mariner whines to Boimler. He stresses on telling Ransom the truth, but ends up going to meet Ransom in the holodeck anyway.
Okay, so the whole scene where Boimler sneaks up on Mariner and Freeman in the phaser range, and he's trying to... I was just laughing so hard watching him try to hit the button repeatedly to get out. I completely, on my first watch, couldn't understand what they were arguing about. And then when I rewatched it the second time with captions, I died again when I realized what they were actually talking about.
And what was that?
Cramps.
Yeah, Mariner's like, you didn't have to tell the whole crew that I had cramps.
No,
Phillips didn't need to know, right?
And then she talked about she outed her mother is going through menopause.
I love that.
The men all pause when I walk into the room.
It's like every guy in this world, that's the conversation they want to walk in on is menstrual periods, cramps, and menopause.
It's just something you don't want to hear, right? You're just like, let them have their own thing. I didn't need to be hearing this.
They were fighting
you
it
guys
out.
totally want to hear this. Dude, last Saturday, you wouldn't believe what happened. No.
I was going to say, I got the mute button right here. I can take care of this. There goes Heather. See, now we can continue having a nice conversation.
My sister made me, when I was 12 years old, my sister made me go to the store to get her tampons because she was out.
That's me.
Do you know how embarrassing
horrible.
it is when you're 12
When you're
and
12,
you have to
you
go
have
buy
no
tampons?
Yes,
I know.
I do, actually.
I grew up with 5 sisters. I had to do it all of the time. And I had to do it with the certain brands. I had to look and then carry them up to the front. And yeah, so as a teenager, it's mortifying. But yeah.
And then guess what? You have to keep doing it all your life, forever. And it never stops.
No, I haven't bought tampons since.
Yeah, you guys are so lucky. Fuck you. I'm so happy we could say fuck on this podcast.
I thought you were going to say, I'm so happy we could say fuck on this fuckcast.
Oh, that's a new term. I like that. I think we have another idea for the internet.
We will be not renaming the ship to the Fuckcast. So it's not going to happen.
Did you notice Boimler couldn't get out of there fast enough?
Yes,
I know.
That's
He
what
was,
was
like,
killing me the
scraping.
first time. He hit that eject button so many times it wasn't going out. The doors were like jammed or something.
He's like a cat trying to scrape his way out of a bag or a pig.
It's like he walked in on his parents having sex. Ooh.
Yeah.
It was bad.
He did get out though, and they didn't notice him. I thought that was I don't know why, but that was a tribute to him quietly pressing the button as much as possible.
I thought it was.
And then he gets into another uncomfortable situation when he gets in the turbo lift. Let's go to Hawaii. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, yeah, I'm from Hawaii too. Sure.
Well, going back real quick, I thought it was really interesting to see 2 people on the holodeck using it as a video game while they're playing, and then they can't see the person seeing them. I thought that was I think that was the first time we saw the holodeck in that way, wasn't it?
They were really into it, yeah. And I loved the Ritos shirt. I think that was awesome.
That's what I was getting ready to ask. What does that mean?
It's
Cerritos.
It's the Cerritos.
Just
But
like
they just call it Doritos?
Yeah, it's the Ritos.
Doritos.
It's like the Discovery has the disco shirt.
God dog it. I spent all night looking up what the fuck that meant. I was checking acronyms. I was checking. I mean, there's results for it. And I go put it into like Memory Alpha and it just says Ritos. C lower decks.
This is our captain. Are we sure we want someone that incompetent?
Ouch.
Who doesn't know what Doritos means?
Doc, switch out your tentacles for knives.
No. I'd start running.
Don't kill him because we need our computer guy. Just cut his big.
Yeah, remember I'm the computer guy. I can lock the doors and he can't get in.
Just don't hit the airlock switch.
I can reprogram him.
Yeah, go through the airlock.
I can reprogram him.
But it was definitely funny when they get on there, and Boimler wants to fit in so bad that he just lies. He goes, "Yeah, I'm from Hawaii too."
Did you notice that none of those people looked Hawaiian at all?
Yeah, especially the blue alien.
Not least of which
the Benzite.
The Benzite guy. Yeah, you're definitely not Hawaiian.
No.
It was just funny. It's like, really, only somebody from Hawaii could talk about the beaches like that.
I think beaches are just like that in general. I don't think it matters if you're in Hawaii or not. Although
the ones in Hawaii
I have not actually been to Hawaii yet, so I don't know how good the beaches actually are.
I haven't been either, but from everything that I've seen, the beaches in Hawaii are much nicer and cleaner and bluer than the ones in Southern California.
Yeah.
Or Northern California.
The water is very, very blue.
You just stick me on the beach and the sound of the waves takes care of me, so I'm good.
And there's less trash.
Yeah, and depends upon where you go. You can have white sands or you can have black sands, and it's very, very nice.
Las Vegas has black sands. It's called tar.
It's
Yeah, we actually do in Las Vegas. Like when I was growing up as a kid, like we would go to the beach and I would build sand castles. And if you dig down into the sand, like the sand looks normal on the top, but if you start digging in, it's this black tarry grossness, and I never knew what it was, and I asked my parents and they're like, oh, it's tar. It's just black tar. It's disgusting.
I'm sorry, what beach in Las Vegas?
Lake Mead.
Okay.
I remember
Which now
isn't
it's
really
worse.
a beach, but
yeah,
Now
I can
it's worse
imagine.
because we have no water.
yeah.
And our sewer system and gray water go into Lake Mead, which if you guys didn't know that, hey, have fun, like, swimming and
I just
skiing.
stay at the hotel pool and I don't even go to that thing. So
My brush with somebody famous actually happened before I started doing the Star Trek stuff. I was in Hawaii at this resort and Jamie Lee Curtis was at the beach and she was literally like less than 30, 40 feet away from me. And of course I was shy and I didn't say anything and I didn't speak to her. I just kept looking over at her and it's like, is that Jamie Lee? That's gotta be her. And it really was her. So
She's been
pretty
sober
cool.
like 20 years now, which I'm,
I
Yeah,
didn't
but
know
no-
she had a problem.
as another sober person, I'm like, that's impressive.
Yeah, it was during her sober time also. And it was at the resort where they had a Tonga who would run out at sunset. And all the women would come out and some guys would come out and watch him because he'd be in a Hawaiian skirt, oiled up with a torch. And he'd run around the property lighting all the other torches. And he would stop with his horn and stuff. And so, yeah, they'd be out there watching him.
Nice.
So that was my blush. If I was how I am now, I would have totally went over to her and started talking, but I didn't.
So on to another subject. Did anyone notice how Talyn was so millennial she couldn't put her pad down?
That was funny.
she's trying to meditate and it's sitting there like, hello, I'm over here. Beep.
And they all come into the room. She's supposed to be meditating in private, and they all come into the room. It's like, what are you doing? Like, I want to finish this so I can relax.
Yep.
And these are the most relaxed people you've ever seen in your life, and they're just Vulcans. But she's extra non-Vulcan.
But they're getting upset because she's not doing what they're doing. So like, even though they're hiding it better, they're totally getting upset that she's,
Yeah.
breaking the rules.
She's not conforming exactly right. So that must drive the other Vulcans crazy.
And she uses logic against them, which I know pisses them off. And she's like, we're Borg drones. We don't have to just follow orders because, there's somebody said so. What was it? The phrase, I wrote it down here. It's like, logic is the beginning of wisdom, not the end. And they get pissed at her.
Yeah, they did.
I mean, they were threatening to call the high command on her.
Well, I think
And she's like, I don't care.
They said she's unstable.
she reminded me of a teenager where she was learning, like, here's how I am and here how society is like dictating for me to be. So she would say, I want to, it's logical to, she would be herself with the feelings and everything. And then she would try to be a part of the group where she started using their language and like logic and everything and tried to sound like them.
Well, I like her because she is her own independent person.
Yep.
And she's definitely realized she is doing her own thing and she's going to follow the logic the way it makes sense to her. And that's, she can look at society and say, look, you guys are doing it this way. And that's not the way I think it should be done. I'm going to do it this way. I kind of like that about her.
And did you notice that she did a fuck you, but Vulcan way when he's like, live long and prosper, and she's like, live long and prosper, sir.
Yes. That was a sarcastic Vulcan salute. I mean, it really was, wasn't it?
Yeah,
He did a Mariner.
she did a Mariner.
Was that that phrase they had on there on that meme? It was like, live briefly and fail and live briefly.
Yeah.
Yikes.
So yeah, that was pretty bad.
Okay, so we cut to the Klingon side of things, and I love the way that scene started with a huge burp from one of the Klingons. It's like, that's a transition right there. I like that. and then the fat guy lands on the Klingon and
on Ma'a.
Yeah, and he's like, walk my Targ.
Bring me some more blood wine.
That was so perfect.
But the Targ ate the traitor's leg, and he's got to walk it until it passes the leg,
And
or
make sure
he
it
will have
passes.
gas.
Right?
I mean, this is the job you have to do, and you cannot fail, because if you do fail, it's going to be obvious.
I wonder if Klingons pick up their turds.
Well, that's what his job is, isn't it?
To pick it up, yeah.
I wonder if Archer ever made somebody express Porto's anal glands.
Oh my God. I bet it was Trip.
Beagles don't have to have their anal glands expressed, I don't believe.
Yes, they do.
They do?
I had a beagle, and he had to have his done, and yes, and it's not nice, and it sucks, and I bet Trip did that.
Ooh,
Yeah.
gross.
Probably.
Well, that's part of having a dog, just like hairballs are part of having cats.
Yeah, but I don't have to touch their booties. and squeeze them.
You put gloves on.
I would say something here, but I'm not going to. So we're going to continue on.
Let's move to the next side.
So we're going to go.
Oh, yeah. The one thing I noted, the Boimler was getting caught in a lie. That was that whole scene where he's worried about getting caught in his lie. And he talked about a penal colony where you'd have to mate with the enemy to form a new civilization. And I thought that was a very specific thing to worry about.
It really was.
I mean, it sounds like fun to me. Penal colonies,
That's all I had. That's my big note. That was the whole thing.
And you have Mariner, who's acting like she hates hanging out with her mother. And she's on the camp and it's like, oh my God, I'm just so tired of hanging out. And she's like, Mariner, come hang out with me. Okay. She bounces off while she's complaining and runs out of the camp, runs out of the lower deck area.
That's her mom, because her mom's her Shadich.
Yeah, but
it's one of those things where you've got that one friend that wants to hang out all the time. And when you do hang out together, it's cool. But when they always want to call and hang out with you, it's like, I got shit to do. I'm busy. I don't have time for this. I don't know if that's Mariner's problem or she's got some other issue. Because at the end of the whole day, she does like hanging out with her mom.
Well, that's Patrick also. I could always tell when Patrick has something to do because he is so kind enough that he won't just say, I gotta go. He just turns monosyllabic. So it's like, did you see the show? Yeah. What'd you think of it? Yeah, good. So what are you going to do tomorrow? That stuff. All right, I'm going to go now. Okay, bye. No, he could be talkative.
Nice.
See, exactly. See? In the back of his head, he's like, why the fuck do you always call? Everybody else texts. Oh my God, you old boomer. I don't want to be on
this
the phone.
This could have been an email.
Seriously, you could have texted this shit. What the hell? You woke the cat. Notice how quiet he is because I was right. End scene.
We love you, Patrick.
Yes, we do.
Next scene?
Next scene.
Yeah.
Okay. Act 3. Red alarm. Red alarm.
Oh my
Red
God.
alarm.
I love that. I was in tears.
I fell off my chair. I mean, it was red alarm.
That was really good.
Go ahead,
So,
Matt.
Dorg laments the Empire has gone soft and lost respect for tradition by joining Starfleet and studying at Bajoran academies. Ma'a agrees it's sad to see warriors lose their Lurditch, which impresses Dorg even though he's smaller, slower, and weaker than the others. Suddenly, the Cheat-ahs is hailed by the pack-led Rebnar, who wants to know if he has any more presents for them. Dorg says he'll beam over with his first new officer, Ma'a. Ma'a, the Pakleds have no honor. Are we commandeering their ship? Dorg says they have their uses, even though they're cowardly and foolish. Dorg wants the Pakleds to throw the region into disarray so they can retake the region. We don't let others fight our battles, Ma'a says. The Federation has no clue that they're being manipulated. Back on the Cerritos, while playing Clue, Freeman is contacted about an anomalous energy reading. Time to get back to work. Back on the Clump ship, Rebnar wants another boomer. Dorg says one Veruvian bomb is enough. We already used it, says Rebnar. Dorg reluctantly gives them another one. The bomb emits Metreon particles, and surely other ships will come to investigate. Red alarm sounds as the Cerritos drops out of warp. Surprised to see the Pakleds attacking the Klingons, Freeman hails the Cheat-ahs to see if they need assistance. Both ships power up their weapons. Raise shields, red alert. As the Cerritos takes damage, Boimler exclaims, I don't want to die in a Hawaiian shirt. He fesses up that he isn't from Hawaii, which prompts everyone else to admit it too. They're all from moons. Modesto is the moon of San Francisco, which offends them all. On the Cheat-ah, Dorg...
San Franciscans.
Right? On the Cheat-ah, Dorg revels in watching the Pakleds attack the Cerritos. Ma'a says there is no honor in having the Pakleds fight their battles. Does the High Council know of your actions? Freeman orders evasive maneuvers as shields fall to 17%. Just then, the Cheval drops out of warp. The Klingons and the Pakleds open fire on the Cheval, and T'Lyn reveals a regenerative shield amplifier she has been working on that will help. Although hesitant, the Kaplan implements the plan and the shields jump to 120%. As Dorg orders the Cerritos to be targeted, Ma'a issues a challenge to Dorg. He rams a knife into Dorg's chest, killing him. What are your orders, Captain? The rest of the crew says. Head for Kronos, he says. As the Cheat-ah warps away, the Cerritos intensifies the attack on the Pakleds, who under fire from the Cheval, and the Cerritos warp away.
This was a really interesting scene also because Lower Decks for the first time in a while has killed people on screen, whereas the other shows have been kind of reluctant to do that. So that was kind of cool. And the Pakled ship, namely the Clump ship, made me laugh also.
Yeah.
That's a class of ship for the Pakleds, the Clump.
The Clump ship. I was like, seriously?
And all ships are named Pakled.
You know, the Clump.
This is the Pakled ship, Pakled.
You are smart.
Yeah, the Pakled Lower Decks, they weren't even aware there was like a fight going on. So they're like sitting there discussing lunch.
I am hungry.
But you should eat. You are
smart.
So good.
Although I've had conversations that felt like that sometimes. Like, yeah, maybe I should eat. That's a good idea.
That's what happens every time Nathan calls me.
Exactly.
You're smart.
It was really funny. And then poor Boiler, it's like, but you know, Boiler in a way has honor because he's like, I don't want to die with the lie. I want my conscience clear. So yeah, I lied.
You picked a hell of a time to mention it, but yeah.
No, but it brought everybody together. That's twice he's done that. He's done that with the red shirts.
Brought it together against him.
Yeah, but he did it with the red shirts. He told the truth and true feelings was out. But he made them bond.
Modesto is not a moon of San Francisco. I just have to say that. Put that
Modesto may moon San Francisco, but it's not a moon of San Francisco.
You may get mooned in Modesto, but you're not, it's just not, I mean, he's from Modesto, but it's just not a moon.
I couldn't believe how fast they gained up on him. Like,
I know, but if you were really from a moon, you'd know just how insulting
that is.
Exactly. He's not a moon buddy.
It's wow. It's like, dude, you ruined it again.
And when they go into red alert and everybody has to stop what they're doing and run to work, it was so funny because they're all running into work and they're all wearing their cosplay.
They're all in their holodeck costumes. It was
that was cool.
Great. That was like one scene, like, oh, that's kind of fun. Then another scene's like, oh my God, they're all wearing stuff.
Yes, every single one. And then you have Shaxs comes in and he has the clay all the way up to his arms and his like apron on and everything.
The only thing I would have liked to have seen is to see the second shift being chased out because before they're all on Liberty, so they had to have a lower deck somebody or second shift manning the bridge. So when stuff starts to go down, everybody's like, get the fuck out my chair, go leave, get out of here. It's time for the A team to take over.
What, Mr. T?
Well, that was pretty funny. But now I have a perfect phrase, and I'm going to say at Christmas time, anytime that I see anyone when they,
Red alarm. Red alarm. Red alarm.
Is that it?
No, the presents. What you call said? You bring presents? What the hell was his name? Pat?
Rebnar. He wants to know if they have any more presents for them.
Great.
Yeah, it was like, Rebnar, did you bring me presents? That was so funny.
We need another boomer.
I loved that they can't figure out how a bomb works. It stopped working. It was like, you used it already. It's a one use.
Once.
How stupid are you? That's hilarious. The Klingon reaction to that, like, what? You can't just use it more than it's a bomb.
The more pertinent question is, how stupid aren't you?
Right?
Seriously, it's like they throw in a grenade. Go get the grenade back. It already exploded. We need it for more battle.
This is faulty. It only blew up an asteroid. That's all it would do. It only did one thing.
And the Klingon Lower Deck, I don't know his name, he is basically watching his captain do all this like sly, manipulative type of a thing. And I'm like, holy crap, he's second in command to the fucking little finger of Klingons.
Oh, shit, yeah.
He was. It was Littlefinger.
In Klingon, his name is Ma'a. In English, it's Ma.
Yeah, in
Ma.
In Valerian, it's Littlefinger.
He's had this illusions of grandeur, starting this massive race war, basically between everyone using the Pakleds as the foil. I wonder now with him out of the picture, is this going to step down the Pakleds from being such a threat? Because he was supplying them with weapons and everything.
I don't know, but I hope they continue this on with the next one because they said that they were going to contact the Klingon High Council. So what's the Klingon High Council going to say about all this?
Yes, much politicalness is going afoot with the Klingons again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, they have the perfect foil guy. We had a guy who was doing this. He's dead now. It's done.
Yeah, and we left.
Yeah.
It could be as simple as that, but will it be?
But then you notice something else I've noticed, that every time they've come across the Pakleds and they beat them off, they never destroy the Pakled ships.
Oh, yeah.
The Pakled ships always get a chance to warp away.
That would be inhumane.
Because our shields are strong.
Oh my God.
But they're not good at repairing things because that's why they had to kidnap Geordi. Because we need stuff to make us go.
They just get another ship, probably. They got a lot of ships lying around because they got all the spare parts.
I really love seeing that one section where Mariner and Captain Freeman are playing the Star Trek Clue. And Freeman's like, you always pick the chef. And Mariner's like, yeah, we have replicators. Why do we have a chef? That's just shady.
The chef is shady. That was a funny line. I'll never look at the chef the same again on a starship. I always thought it was a little bit weird to have a chef on Enterprise. But it was. I let it go a little bit because that's an early version of the ship. Because maybe they'd have a chef on an early version of the ship. But
they had a chef on Voyager, Neelix.
Yeah, that's because they
were in the Delta Quadrant.
Yeah, and Neelix wasn't it wasn't a
he was
standard.
Shady.
He wasn't a standard crew assigned, chef. He just took over being a chef, because that's what he liked to do.
And also they needed material for the replicator, so they needed people to shit as much as possible.
See, it's a circle of life.
Is that what it is? Okay.
The crew's in a new area. When you're scared, you don't shit. So
you got to get encouraged.
Or you completely lose your bowels and it's all runny and watery.
Speaking of losing your bowels, the moment where they were talking about what happened with the Targ, he said the leg is passed. It was an honorable movement. That got me laughing. I was not expecting. Because I thought it was going to be an audible moment, and then he said movement, and I'm just like, oh, jeez.
But it was his Targ, the captain's Targ pet. But what's his name treated it right, and so it went to defend him.
The Targ is a hero.
The Targ went over to defend him.
Yep, and then that became his new pet.
Dorg had no honor, so
that's true.
I love seeing the Klingon opera.
I thought it was interesting when I saw the name of the ship. I call it the cheetah, and I thought it's because they were cheating. That's why it's called the cheetah.
The cheetahs.
Nice.
Because they're cheating, so it's the cheetah. So, what Dot? No, do not change our red alarm to red alert. Don't do that.
Yeah, Dot's not allowed access to the red alarm.
No, don't do that. No, I don't want to. I know it was funny, but it won't be funny if we really do get something to happen. All right, thank you. Sorry about that.
The whole thing that brings all of this together was, of course, the Pakled blowing up this bomb and the Metreon particles that came off of them using it.
Yeah.
That's what brought everybody's attention to this place. And that was their downfall for testing on an asteroid.
But it shows how a lot of times you get what they call the butterfly effect, how you get events that seem to be unrelated come together to something that happens. Just little decisions and little thoughts drove them to that meeting. If it wasn't for the bomb being exploded, wasn't for her being able to scan, the Cerritos probably would have lost really bad.
Oh, yeah. No, if the Vulcans weren't there because they came in at the last second.
Yeah.
The honor struggle on the Klingon ship would not have saved the Cerritos.
Now, I have another weird question, just space-wise. How come every time we see ships, they always come in right side up?
I got nothing.
Just stop.
Because space, there's no such thing as...
How can you tell with that Vulcan ship? Because it was just a big arrow-looking thing. If you spin it around upside down, it would look the same.
Well, it's
just a dildo with a giant cat penis.
No, it's a dildo with the cock ring around it. But still, but why the ships always come? I would say that it would, like, one ship would come one way, another ship would come upside down, pointing in the other direction. Another ship would come at a weird angle, but they all meet on the same plane.
Basically, we need to tweet Mike McMahon and be like, dude, you got to get this into one of your shows. Like, have all the ships come in at different angles.
Yeah, seriously. Or somebody could go, what's his face? That does all the star stuff. What's his name? Oh my God, I'm blanking on his name.
Star Wars?
Rocket
you talking
Man.
about?
No,
the
guy who does. No, the guy who always does science facts and everything. And
Larry Nemechek?
No, on the planetarium, he's a famous black guy.
Him.
Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Thank you. We should tweet him that.
I thought you were talking about on the show.
No, get Neil deGrasse Tyson. Why does it seem that everything comes in at the same angle, at the same plane? Now, I understand why the planets are all on the same plane, but why starships? So it's just a little thing. Okay, we can continue on. I broke the show.
I would like to see you ask this question of a Pakled.
Oh my God. He would just
explode.
His head would explode.
Yeah, literally explode his head.
Okay, last section, epilogue. Best friends and drones. On the Cheval, T'Lyn is commended by our captain, but he is reassigning her to a Starfleet vessel since she can't control her emotions. Back in the mess hall, Mariner tells Boimler he doesn't need a bridge buddy because he has them, and the next time they're on a long haul warp, they will do something together. As Boimler waits for his drink, a cadet comes up asking him for help with the duty schedule. Flattered, Boimler agrees to help him. On Borg Cube 90182, the lower decker drones regenerate in their alcove.
I thought it was 90128. Did I write that wrong?
Yeah, what did I say?
No,
I
it's
thought it was
90182.
90120 or...
Oh, goodness.
90182.
No, it's
I think I got
90182,
auto-corrected.
which is an area code.
What did I say?
Which is an area code.
Yeah, in New Mexico.
That was funny.
It's a zip code
So
in New
that was
Mexico, not
funny.
an area code.
Yep, that's what I meant. Come on, you speak, Nathan. Shut it. Oh, but it was. My bet is that we're going to see the Vulcan on the Cerritos.
Yeah, that's my hope.
I hope so. I really want to see her on the Cerritos.
Because we don't have a Vulcan on the Cerritos yet, do we?
Yeah, that ship needs a Vulcan.
That would be such an awesome way to introduce a new character.
She'd be the perfect Vulcan for them too.
Yeah.
And a foil
I think we
against
have some
Mariner.
red shirt Vulcans on the Cerritos, but I don't think we have any Vulcans in command
Right.
positions.
Not a main character.
Yeah.
There's no Vulcan science officer.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
And-
no kidding.
And yes, it is
So she could be
90182.
there.
My freaking, either I typed it wrong, which I doubt. I think the iPad auto-corrected me.
And also, what the heck? There's an Act 4. We had no teaser, but we had like an epilogue. That's weird. That's really weird how they did that.
Yeah.
But the ending credit sequence,
That was so funny.
awesome.
Oh my God. That was so funny.
I kept waiting for them to do something, and they're just standing there regenerating.
You just hear
Yeah.
fluid moving.
Yeah.
That was funny.
They're using their collective brains.
They're just collectively
was
hanging
funny.
out. See,
If you-
the Borg have the bridge buddy thing figured out. They've got the social structure. They're just there.
They're all connected.
They're
They're
all connected.
bridge buddies.
It's all good.
And if you guys don't know what we're talking about the Borg lower decks. They're just standing there, and that's the end.
Well, they have their own little mental thing. 7 and 9 show that. They have their own little picnic area, which they all go and hide and have fun.
Oh, Unimatrix
Yeah.
Zero. That's a good episode.
Matrix Zero.
That's a good Voyager episode.
Such a good episode.
Yeah. So, but it was a very good episode again. Lower Decks is hitting it out.
So those Borg drones were, you know how like 7 of 9 is 7 of 9. So they were L of D.
Yeah, they were partying.
There you go.
They were partying, and they switched the show because they did it as a favor to me because I said Patrick's doing the show notes, and I want to see if this is going to flip them up, and it didn't. So thank you.
Of course it's not going to.
Oh, because
also-
you are smart. Go ahead.
It also warmed my heart what Ransom did for Boimler, sending the junior officer to him for mentorship. I thought that was really,
It was.
yeah, just very touching and everything, because the way he looked over at them and smiled and everything, and it's like, oh, see, this show isn't just offensive.
Yeah, but you can't get too touchy on a starship. Otherwise, HR kind of gets involved.
Yeah.
Either that or they give you a red shirt.
But you
Yeah.
have a senior officer that turns around and says that you're the most organized officer on this ship, and you're also a really good officer. That goes a long, long way.
Yeah, no, that was cool.
Which really meant Boimler's really anally retentive. So
Yeah, but here's somebody who needs help, and here's a person that can help them with it. I like
Yeah.
that. I think, that's a good pairing. Say Boimler's like, he's the perfect person for you. It's like, that's great. And Boimler's got his own little Boimler now. He's got a mini Boimler.
What I like this is the first time that I could recollect, and please correct me, is that they actually addressed long spans of time between warping to different areas.
Yeah, because you wonder
Yeah.
what actually happens. You can't just be flashing around warp 8 forever. I mean,
Yeah.
something you got to either stop once in a while or you've got to, do something to occupy yourself. That's why they got the holodecks everywhere.
Exactly.
So I thought that was kind of cool on there. And I really hope that Kayshon gets over the fat thing that he said. Kayshon.
well, he's at the replicator ordering Jenny Craig.
He doesn't look fat.
No.
He looks
But that
good.
was still funny, But
Yeah.
it was a good episode. This is the part which I like to ask. Heather, what would you give it?
Oh, let's see here. A 9.
Very cool.
Yep.
And why?
I was going to do 8.5, but the fact that they had all of the lower decks of all of the ships, it just bumped it up to a 9. We didn't get as many Easter eggs in this one, or maybe I just didn't notice the Easter eggs. Like, for example, the cliff, like that just totally went over my head. But I love the story. I love that they showed all of the lower decks, and it's a great episode. I'm going to miss lower decks when it stops.
Yeah, we have one more left.
I know.
How about you, Pat? What'd you give it?
I'll give it an 8.5. It was really good. There was a lot of stuff going on. Lots of fun stuff.
Okay. And what was your reason for the 8.5? Normally you hit a 9. What was a little off for you?
I don't know.
It was just the overall feel.
I am not smart.
There you go. Good answer.
That's funny. And how about you, Rocky?
I got a 9 for this one. This one was pretty good. I had a lot of fun watching this, and I just hope we don't hear red alarm too often.
Oh, that was so funny.
Now, the one thing I will give this, believe it or not, I'm actually going to be ahead of you guys. I'm going to give it a 9.5 for one reason, and one reason only. And that's because the Pakleds always make me laugh, because I support people at work that they are Pakleds, and it's hysterical. You sit there and you like, what? There was this person who, I don't know if I told this story before, needed to upgrade the iOS on her iPhone. Okay. It was a requirement because it was a critical update. So she calls and says that my phone just stopped working. And this is because you need to update the iOS. The security software disabled it. It was like, well, can I connect it here at work? This is no, you don't not allowed to connect your phone with Wi-Fi at the job. She goes, well, I can connect to my home Wi-Fi. This is, yes, you can. She goes, well, can I do it here? Is your house next to the job? No. Well, how far do you live? About 20 miles away. But I know my Wi-Fi password. Can I just connect to it here?
Oh, wow.
And I was like,
People don't know how Wi-Fi works.
it's like, no, you can't. Unless you get repeaters.
It's just like the name. It's just like the name of this episode. Wijduj. It's her Wi-Fi doesn't work. her Wi-Fi doesn't work at work.
It's like, no. And if you're listening to this episode, if the person listening to this episode is a Star Trek fan, you just heard me describe you. I'm sorry, but it really was the topic of conversation all afternoon.
And if you're a person who doesn't know how Wi-Fi works, it's only a few feet from the Wi-Fi or the modem or the router. So you can only go 10, 15 feet from the modem and the router.
Yeah, I wanted to tell her, like we used to say in the service, it's going to connect through FM, and that's through Fuckin Magic.
There you go.
That's the only way. But this was an enjoyable episode. And Patrick, what's next week's episode? Watch, he's gonna get mad. What's next week's title?
I don't know. I'm not magic. I'm not fucking magic.
So you're not FM?
You don't have FM.
He doesn't have FM.
You're not? Oh my God. Well, next week's episode is going to be entitled, we don't know yet. So it's episode 20, but it's the season finale. So
No!
It's the
know.
20th episode for both seasons over here, but it's actually episode 10. It's 210. The promo number is LD 2010. So it's going to be next week. Unfortunately, this was a really good ride, and it felt like it went quick. This time went by really fast for this.
That's because Lower Decks is always so much fun. Like, it really should have more than 10 episodes.
It really is. And
Yeah.
it gave me the one character which I always wanted to see again, which was the Pakleds.
Mm.
So, and I'm glad they made them front and forth because they're like my favorite foil, so it was quite hysterical.
And then we have 2 weeks before Prodigy starts.
Yeah. And so we're going to have to torture Heather with Enterprise.
Yeah. But hey, at least the Enterprise one we're doing is about the dog. So
Yeah.
that
And
works.
about anal expression. So that's going to be kind of cool.
So wait, real quick. So I had a beagle and a schnauzer. So it was a Bowser, and he had a little mohawk like a Bowser. So I just had to point that
Oh,
out. Yeah.
that is so cool.
Like Bowser from Sha-Na-Na.
No, Bowser from Super Mario Brothers. He's a beagle and a schnauzer. He's a Bowser.
You probably don't know who Bowser is, do you?
She doesn't know
she
who
does.
Bowser. Yeah,
I know who Bowser is from
she
Super
knows.
Mario Brothers. I grew up on that.
No,
she
from
isn't-
Sha-Na-Na.
she has no
Sha-Na-Na.
idea. She's way too young for that.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about.
Just watch Grease. You'll see Bowser.
Yeah,
I
he
hate
always
that
wears
movie.
He always wears a muscle shirt.
That is the worst movie in the entire world.
Well,
Are you high?
No, I have good taste.
You're okay.
what? They're here. Hey, Pat,
I have to go.
Your instructor is here, so you're gonna have to get going. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Remember, subscribe to our YouTube channel, hit that like, and also share if you know other Star Trek fans that are around that would love to hear us. You can also find us on other platforms. You can find us on SoundCloud, and you can go, hey Alexa, play the latest episode of Starfleet Underground. Hey Siri, play the latest podcast of Starfleet Underground, and you'll get all of us.
Now that all your devices are playing our show while you're listening to our show.
And you can hear us in stereo, which is really kind of cool.
Or in FM.
Yeah. Thank you so much for everyone for joining on our ship. It was nice to have you. Please just don't have a great week, but make it so.
And if you can, support the show by going to patreon.com/Starfleet Underground. Lots of perks to choose from, and you might even like some of them. Starfleet Underground, beaming into a podcast feed near you. Log on to our website at starfleetunderground.com and send your comments and questions to thecollective@starfleetunderground.com. Follow us on Twitter at StarfleetUnderG and on Facebook and Instagram, we're Starfleet Underground.